All right, good morning. I'm Dan Royce. I'm here to tell you a little bit about the Killer Nashville Mock Crime Scene Competition. Some of you have done this before. Mostly this explanation is going to be for the rookies out there. Why would you want to compete? Well, mainly it's for fun, but there are prizes too. The winner is going to get a discounted admission to next year's Killer Nashville Conference, as well as the famous TBI Challenge coin, which has no monetary value, but tons of bragging rights. The main thing is that by competing, you get to experience some of the challenges of crime scene investigations that might not occur to you otherwise. Now, we have our scene set up in room 219 and 220 of the hotel. That's the corner suite on the second floor. When you get there, you're going to be given a handout that looks something like this right here, that explains the facts of the case and the rules for competing. Your job is going to be to perform the initial survey of the crime scene, and based on what you find, to form a hypothesis of what happened. Also to locate physical evidence within the crime scene and to determine what testing to assign to that evidence. Unlike a real crime scene, you can touch anything in there except for the body. Can't touch the body, as long as anything that you touch winds up exactly where it came from. As a part of this investigation, you're also going to interview first responders, witnesses, and other persons of interest in the case. These are going to be pre-recorded video interviews to ensure that everyone has the same chance. The handout has instructions for accessing the video interviews using your laptop or smartphone. The video interviews are also going to be available on the Killer Nashville website. Now, once you've finished, you're going to need to determine a few things, such as, is this death accidental? Is it suicide? Is it a homicide? If it is a homicide, is it a planned or an unplanned thing? What type of a weapon was used? What's the motive? Who are your main suspects? Things to look for that are going to lead to a resolution in the case and hopefully an arrest. Now, you'll write those conclusions on this first page of your crime scene diagram. Okay, you're going to draw your evidence in on the diagram. You're going to write your conclusions down here. Okay, the other page is sort of like the form that you would use to submit evidence that you've identified to the crime laboratory. As in real life, you can have the right evidence, but if you don't assign the right testing to it, it doesn't help you any. There's actually a good bit of judgment involved. Now, when you fill out this form, there's 4 areas to deal with. There is this one we call evidence, processing at the scene, standards from the scene, and examinations done at the crime laboratory. Now, let's talk about the first one, evidence, over here. Okay, let's say we had a baseball bat. Under description, you would write baseball bat. Location is the grid where it was found within the crime scene, and you're going to have to refer to your crime scene diagram for that. It's kind of like playing Battleship when you were a kid, A4, D3, whatever. Now, do you process it at the scene or do you send it to the lab for processing? Most things are better processed at the crime laboratory, but some things can't be sent to the crime laboratory. That's going to be up to you to decide. So, for example, if I was looking for latent prints on a baseball bat, I'd submit that to the lab, but if I was looking for latent prints on a countertop, I'd dust for them at the scene. Kind of makes sense. Now, under description, you could also write the name of a person, such as a victim or a first responder or a suspect that you might want testing done on. Also, you could write the area on the grid, such as A3 or B2, any place that you might want area processing, such as vacuuming for hair and fibers or spraying with luminol. The next area is for processing that you feel is appropriate to be performed at the crime scene. If there's an abbreviation that you don't understand, you can ask me about it. There's also a glossary available that explains what all of the forensic testing is. It's on the website, and I also have some hard copies up at the scene available. The area after that is for standards. If you're going to be asking for a comparison of some kind, then you're going to need standards to compare that with. Now, I'd probably want my victim's finger and palm prints to compare to prints at the scene, just as an example. The last of these areas, this one right over here, is for examinations that you want performed at the crime laboratory once the evidence is submitted. For instance, if there was a reddish-brown stain on the baseball bat that I was talking about, you'd probably want DNA comparison to your victim's DNA profile. So that's what you put. Now, for each of these areas, you're going to want to place an X in here somewhere. Now, that X is going to indicate what forensic testing that you want done. And you have a maximum of 50 X's that you can use. So choose wisely. Your score is going to be the number of correctly placed X's as well as the accuracy of your hypothesis. Please don't forget to put your name on it and turn it in by 1:30 p.m. on Saturday so I have time to score it. Good luck, and I will see you at the crime scene.